Hi guys, I have got another video for you today from my comment section on this channel. So if you have been reading through the comments and asking some of the questions that you've read for yourself, well, maybe today is your lucky day and maybe this is a question that you had that you want answered. So today's question comes from Mandrill Helm, and the question is, why does the female narcissist go back to old supply when they had it so good? And that is a really great question. We're going to talk about that in today's video. My name is Amy and this is Narcaway. My channel is dedicated to educating, supporting, and encouraging victims and survivors of narcissistic abuse. If you've been to my channel before, welcome back. And if this is your first time here, welcome. So, why does the female narcissist go back to old supply? Now, I know that a lot of men, or not just men, but everybody differentiates between a female narcissist and a male narcissist. And I know sometimes some people on this channel get a little bit offended if I refer to a narcissist as a male or a man. And the reason I do that is because my personal experience was at the hands of a male narcissist. My ex was a man, he was a narcissist. I do often relate my personal experiences and narcissistic abuse in a male pronoun type of way. And I know that some of the men on this channel don't like that, and I can fully appreciate that, because I will acknowledge right here and right now for everybody that it's not just men that are narcissists. Women can be and are just as narcissistic as men. I've looked at the stats on this, and I think the most recent thing I saw, they said 51% men and 49% of women is the breakdown. I mean, that's such a small difference. I would just say it's 50-50. Narcissism doesn't know any one gender. It's not specific to race or location or age. Narcissism is a personality disorder that can afflict anyone. So men or women, old or young, doesn't matter where you're from. There are narcissists all across this world, unfortunately. So you never know what you're going to get. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and address this video with neutral pronouns, because the answer is going to be the same whether the narcissist is a man or a woman. Why does a female narcissist go back to old supply? Why does a male narcissist go back to old supply? They both do it. Narcissists recycle supply. And if you're unsure what that really means, if you're unsure what supply means and what going back means, it's basically anybody that gives a narcissist narcissistic supply is considered supply. And these are people who will entertain the narcissist. It's somebody that the narcissist can use or garner attention from. They can use them for sex, for money, for a place to stay. There's lots of different things that a narcissist could use somebody for. And the narcissist's odds are improved when they go backward instead of forward. So they go for old supply rather than new supply. So instead of meeting somebody new and grooming them from scratch, conditioning them and training them and molding them into the abuse victim that they'll eventually be, they can go back and take somebody from their past who they've previously discarded and pick back up where all that work's already done. They've already done the grooming and the hard work and conditioning. This person, the old supply, already has an established relationship with the narcissist. And they can go back very, very far in time. I'm not just talking a couple of months or a couple of years. Narcissists will literally go back decades to pick somebody out. They'll go, maybe a 50 or 60-year-old person will go back to Facebook and scroll through old school chums and pick a target from, you know, a long list. Facebook's a wonderful tool for narcissists to use. People are literally listed and lined down for them. They can just copy and paste the same message over and over and over again until they hit. And once they hit, somebody responds, bam, instant supply. And if they're lucky, they're going to get several responses. And now they can balance these different old supplies and get lots of attention. And they're going to play the odds because narcissists know that eventually their victims are going to catch on to them. Eventually, we're going to figure it out. It might take a while, but eventually we are going to educate ourselves, figure out what's going on, clear the confusion, and leave them. And so a narcissist will have to have a backup plan for that. They have to have somebody in the wings to go feed them the fuel that they so need to survive. And that fuel is attention, it's sex, it's worship. So that's why they'll go back to old supply, even if they have it so good. Because if they have it so good with you, they might be bored of that. They might have it too good with you because you are putting up with all of their abuse. And narcissists get bored of that, believe it or not. As much as they love to be worshipped and need it, if you are too compliant, they will get bored of that. They do like the challenge. They do like to see people squirm. So if you're not squirming, if you're not fighting and you're just letting them walk all over you, they will go back and get some old supply just for something new, something fresh, for additional supply. Remember, there is no such thing as too much supply when it comes to a narcissist. You cannot oversaturate them with attention and adoration. You just can't. That is their lifeblood. That's what they thrive on. That's what they need to survive. They need the attention from other people. And the more of it they get, the more of it they want, the more of it they need. So if you have discarded them, then also going backwards is easier than going forward. They'll do both, and they may go find new supply, or new supply might just fall into their lap, as sometimes it happens. Don't forget, narcissists are very charming. Narcissists are very good at getting what they want. They're very good at grooming people and tricking people and love bombing. This is how it's very likely that you got sucked into your relationship with the narcissist in the first place. You were love bombed and you were groomed. You could not resist the charm of the narcissist, whether it was a male or a female. They operate the same ways. Maybe they're a little bit different in their tactics, but the ultimate goal is the same. It's still love bombing. It's still grooming. And you might even see those red flags in the beginning. There might be some signs of the hot and cold that narcissists are very known for. There might be signs of lying or cheating or accusations and projections that tip you off a little bit, and you might raise some suspicions, but because you're already entrapped in this romance and this whirlwind of this beginning of this relationship, you're going to hesitate to call them out on that. You will actually make excuses for them, saying, well, you know, it probably wasn't that bad. I'm probably overreacting. Oh, they had a perfectly logical explanation for that. That was actually somebody else's fault and they just reacted. We do it all throughout the relationship, and we start doing it from the very beginning. So there's no surprise with that. So narcissists are very well equipped at getting that supply that they need, whether it's new supply or old supply. Old supply is usually easier to get. There's a comfort level there because they've already been in a relationship. They know those buttons to push. They know how to manipulate that person. And that person, if they haven't done their healing and their work, then they are very likely easier to entrap again. That's the thing. If you have not gone no contact, and this is why no contact is so important, guys. It's so you don't become old supply. Because once you have healed from your relationship and left it, if you have not gone no contact and blocked all access to you, that narcissist could come back years down the line. And you might think you're over them, and you might think you've moved on, and you might think you're healed and impenetrable to the abusive ways of a narcissist. But if that narcissist catches you at the right time, maybe you've gone through another breakup, maybe a loved one has passed away, maybe you've just lost your job, who knows what it is. You could have some sort of vulnerability at that moment in time. And if the narcissist reaches out to you and says everything you wanted to hear years ago, maybe they actually apologize. Maybe they admit their wrongdoings. You could be swayed and convinced to give it another shot, just like the old supply is. Because this is what happens. And just so I'm extremely clear, if that narcissist does come back apologizing and claiming that they've changed their ways, this is a ploy. They have no regrets. They are not sorry. They are not truly apologetic. They haven't changed their ways. They have just figured you out, figured out that you have figured them out. So they know what they need to say to get to you. And this is what they're doing to the old supply. So you can very easily become recycled old supply yourself. You need to block them so they never have access to you again. When they go to the old supply, if that old supply has taken them back, the chances are that that old supply is in a vulnerable state themselves. They have left themselves open for Hoover. This is what we call the Hoover guys. When a narcissist goes back to old supply, they're hoovering them. They're sucking them back in, and that's literally where that word comes from. They do not have the boundaries set up that you need to set up to resist and deflect any attempts at being hoovered and getting sucked back into an abusive relationship with a narcissist. So that is why a female or male narcissist goes back to old supply. It doesn't matter how good they have it where they are, they just want more. It's about greed, and it's about self-serving behaviors. More, me. That is the narcissist's mantra. It's all about them all the time, if you haven't figured that out already. And it's disguised quite well. That's why we need to educate and talk about these things so we understand why they're doing what they're doing and how we can protect ourselves from them. Because they are very, very good at disguising their selfish tendencies as the exact opposite of that. They can look like they're being giving when they're actually being selfish. That's the trick about them. They're very, very sneaky creatures, and they're only out for their best interest. You have to remember that. No matter what they say to you or what they give you in the beginning to try to buy your love or buy back your love, that is a tool to suck you in, to keep you there so they can abuse you more. It has nothing to do with you. It's not because they love you or they respect you or they're sorry. It's because they need you to use you for attention, sex, money, or other things. And you need to repeat that to yourself, because when you're in love with a narcissist, you project that love onto them. And what that means is you're telling yourself that they love you too. Well, I love them, so they must love me. I'm really sorry to say, guys, that's just not the case. I did that. I know. I thought that the narcissist I was with was madly in love with me till the day I left him. And it was only through all of my healing and time away from him and being no contact that I started to see that I was delusional with that thought. He clearly didn't love me, because somebody who loved me would have never treated me that way. The man that loves me now loves me. He treats me with respect and honor and kindness, and there's no games, there's transparency, and that's how your relationships need to be. If you are confused in your relationship, that is a problem. That is on purpose, because the narcissist never wants you to be unconfused. They don't want you seeing clearly. They don't want you understanding things. They have got you right where they want you when you're confused. You're much easier to manipulate that way. And that's what they're going to do with old supply. So guys, I hope this answers your questions. That is why a narcissist goes back to old supply. The short answer is it's easier. It's a shorter route to supply. And it doesn't matter how good they have it where they are now. It's about supply as much of it as they can extract, and the easiest way. So if you like this video, guys, please go ahead and click the thumbs up button. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and if you don't already, please subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video. I love you all.